Welcome back to the Rest is F1 podcast. Today we are talking about the Italian Grand Prix. I'm your host Shaq, and I've got Ham with me. How are we, Ham?
I'm good. Another great weekend. Temple of Speed, Monza. We just had to see the Max show, which was phenomenal, Shaq. Phenomenal. Let's break it through.
Yeah. No, so you said that you started off perfectly. Um, Temple of Speed, as it is called, and that's for a reason. Max Verstappen breaks the Monza pole record by, I think, not even a tenth or something, or maybe 1/10 or something like that. But really good, really good from Max. Obviously, he's won. He's won again. He's really good in Italian tracks for some reason. He likes to win there. He won in Imola earlier, and yeah, he's got the win at Monza. 19 seconds as well. Just perfect from him, really. I think probably the only 10 out of 10 I would give this out of his racing, I would say. For a single driver, I think I would give him a 10 out of 10. But let's talk about the race rating. What have you given it?
A 7. It was action packed. There were a lot of interesting things that were happening on the racetrack that day. It was quite entertaining, but then there could have been some areas, if the McLarens were a bit more closer to Max or a couple of safety cars towards the end would have made it more interesting. But then a 7 out of 10 because Max was on another world there. Another world, Shaq.
It's a different planet. Really a different planet. I've just given it a 6. I think partly, I don't know. I think Monza's a little bit difficult to overtake at. The DRS train can easily start there, so that's one thing that the F1 can look at. But yeah, look, Max just really good, flawless performance. But behind him is the two McLarens. That's where the drama was. It seems to be constant drama from this team now. So obviously Norris and Piastri second and third. They've qualified there. They finished there, but it wasn't as simple as that. Norris had a slow stop after
it took him a total of 5 seconds to get out of the team pits.
The
pit box. Yes, took him almost 5 seconds, which is another 4 seconds extra to what Piastri had, which was a 1.9. So that is a massive time. It would have felt like a long time for Norris over there because the front left wasn't actually welded together there.
Yeah.
Pit stop was a bit shabby, and which led for a slower pit stop, and the team had to do a swap, which Piastri didn't like it much, but then he did because it was a team order and he followed it. And we could hear, we knew what Verstappen had to say about that. And I just want to say something, Shaq. He was nearly 20 seconds, I think 19 seconds ahead of the McLaren driven by Norris. That was something massive. Even with the pit stop, he would have been close to 15 seconds. Even if Norris had a faster pit stop, he would have been 15 seconds ahead of him. That was, beautiful driving by Max. There's nothing to call. I mean, there's nothing else. You can't say the McLaren's done this mistake, that mistake. No, it was all Verstappen. That's it. That's clear. Max Verstappen had the pace, he had the car, and he kept it clean. Yeah. He didn't have any issues. But McLaren, on the other hand, if they wanted, they could have done something to at least to catch up to Max. But then they waited until the 40th lap or something to change
46.
46, 44 to change the tires because they were waiting. They might encounter a safety car, which they didn't. Their plan would have backfired even if they had waited for another lap or two to get because Leclerc was actually catching up to them because they were on a 40 lap old tire. They were on a medium 40 laps. and Leclerc had a much better tire, and he was catching up to them. So was Russell to Leclerc, but then that was a dumb decision, I would say, by McLaren. I'm pretty sure you agree to the same.
Yep, yep. I think the 19 seconds is caused mostly by, I think, McLaren's decision to stay out for longer. They could have easily decided to, try and undercut Max or something, not just sit and wait. So that was a bit boring, actually, from McLaren. And ultimately, the mistake. It was a mistake, but it didn't matter if they had done that or not because Max still would have won, like you said. Now, I want to pose a question to you. Do you think that the Norris and Piastri position swapping is fair? Do you think it's right?
Considering that it was a team mistake or the pit mistake, McLaren wanted to do the right thing by giving Norris his position, which was second, because that's where he's been throughout the race. But then, being in all honesty and want to see the race, I would just say, fight it out, Norris. Okay, it is what it is. It is racing. This is how it's going to be. This is racing. So you have to fight it out. So I would say they should not have swapped places. They should have fought for the place. That is how it is. Just imagine if it was in Piastri in P2, it was Leclerc in P2. Would you call a Ferrari and ask, could you swap position, then you can just start fighting? No, you can't.
Yeah,
You can't. You have to fight for the position. The McLaren doing that call was because I think they feel like it was their mistake that Norris had a slow pit stop, but then that is how racing works. Sometimes you get a good pit stop, sometimes you don't. It is what it is. They should have fought for it.
yeah,
Piastri, being the team driver, he wasn't happy, but then he said, "It's a team order. I'm going to follow."
yeah,
But then he was given the green signal to fight, but then it was a bit too late. They had only 4-5 laps left towards the
yeah.
end.
So there was really no winning from that. Yeah,
No winning, and it was a clear pit stop mistake. Clear pit stop mistake. The front left wasn't tightened properly. It was a clear pit stop, and I actually saw the video in which the guy who was replacing the tires were telling to tighten it. It wasn't tightened properly,
hmm
and if it
yeah. He's
wasn't, it
tapping
would
his
have.
hand, saying,
Yeah, tapping his hand. So
"Right."
yes, so
Yeah,
if McLaren had gone through, they would have gotten a safety car.
yeah. So I fully agree with what you said. And I just think like one thing is like imagine they are both very close on points going into the last race and something like this happens. Let's say like one of them is in front and the other overtakes because one of them has a slow stop. Like that's not fair at all.
But
So
truly,
like
I
if they're
agree.
swapping it back and they pretty much just give up a title, like I don't see the logic. So I think they're
Yo,
starting
yo,
to feel very safe. They're starting to feel very safe that they're so far ahead and all this stuff.
yeah. See, but then I wouldn't say that because I just noticed Verstappen is almost, I think, 40 points, 40 to 50 points behind Norris. He's actually catching up.
Yeah, that's true. That's
he,
true.
he is actually catching up, and this is the similar situation Norris was in last year.
Yeah.
It was ahead, Verstappen was ahead, Norris was catching up. Norris was actually catching up. So probably the team was worried about the gap that is going to be shortened between Verstappen and Norris as well, because clearly Oscar Piastri was well ahead in matter of points, but then I'm still not happy with the decision that they had to swap so that Lando can have a better race. I would still
It's not a good look for
prefer.
the team.
It's never a good look for the team. Uh, okay, it is if it was under other circumstances where Lando actually needed those points. He could. be fighting for the world champion. I mean, he's winning the world championship. This that nothing. You are
Yeah, he's the one
racing.
who's
You
behind.
go
Yeah,
for it. Yeah, to cover up McLaren's mistake, they asked him to swap positions, which
Mm.
Piastri being Piastri is like, yeah, team order.
Yeah,
So now
yeah. That's
Piastri
the
is going to be
difference, right?
expecting the similar thing for him as well. So
That's true.
it's
Then when you can look at it like that, because he gets a benefit, because
yeah,
then you go, okay, well, I've done this before in the past. Now you guys have to return that favor. You can't just keep, you know.
yeah.
But yeah, that's a clear mistake.
There's a difference between swapping. Okay, if Lando is actually fast, and if
Hmm.
he's catching on quickly to Piastri, okay, Piastri swap positions because clearly Lando is faster. He might be able to cut down Max's time by a lot, which was again impossible. Even if he did, he wouldn't be able to fight Max Verstappen for P1. But then, still, to reduce the time, okay, understood. But this wasn't that. This was just so that Lando has been in P2 for what 95% of the race, and just because McLaren made a mistake, they want to rectify it by pulling Piastri behind. Piastri was ahead because he had the outlap covered really fast.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, if 3 seconds, yeah, he would have been 3 seconds behind. But then probably with a warmer set of tires, Piastri would have eventually overtook Norris as soon as he got out of the pits.
yeah. Look, the logic
A
is
lot of yeah, it's
a
done.
lot
The
of
race is a
logic
lot of
here.
possible, yeah, a lot of possibilities.
Yeah,
But then I just want another question. I know we have been talking on this
yeah,
for a while
yeah,
now, but then another perspective we can think about is what if it was Piastri who had pit second and had a 4 second, 4 5 second pit stop. Leclerc might be on the podium if that was the
yeah,
scenario.
yeah. So I think that's why they had put Piastri in first, so they
Yeah, to cover off
cover off
Leclerc. To be
Leclerc.
honest, yes.
Um, yeah. Look, it's a mistake, and I hope they don't keep making these problems for.
Exactly.
Otherwise,
It is not a racing we want to see. This is not the
yeah,
racing we want
yeah.
to see.
Otherwise, they're going to become their own worst enemy. So let's fix that up, McLaren. But I've moved down the grid. Obviously, a bit happening in the top 10. Bortoleto and Hadjar both finished in the points. Gabriel Bortoleto finished eighth, and Hadjar finished in 10th. Hadjar came from the back, and Bortoleto, I believe, he did qualify in the top 10. So that was two pretty good drives from two pretty good rookies.
Well, Shaq, I absolutely loved the way both Bortletto and Hadja were driving. No mistakes. They were keeping it clean. They knew what they were doing. And if you've noticed, both Hadjar and Bortletto have been sort of consistent in finishing in points.
Yes, yes.
On the other hand, we had Kimi Antonelli in a really fast car, and he was actually giving us some sort of entertainment with him ahead in points and stuff in the initial set of races. In fact, even a podium finish. But then now he has been off. He has been off for a while now. Now in the rookie battle, I would say the ones that are performing are both Bortoleto and Hadja, finishing massive, and at the temple of speed where the cars are going over 300 kilometers per hour. They are absolutely nailing it. I'm just loving the way they race.
I think it's between those two for Rookie of the Year. I don't think Antonelli's. I think
I think
Antonelli
Antonelli,
is younger. He is younger than them, so I think it does. The mistakes does come with that. He's going to make more mistakes. He is going to, sort of lose his cool a little bit more than those other guys.
yeah.
But yeah,
Sorry, Shaq. One quick question: is Antonelli still the highest rookie with points, or has Hadjar come close enough to that?
they're both still. He's still quite fairly in front of both of them.
I think one podium helped, and a couple of finishes in
Yeah, a
the
couple
points helped him out.
P5s, stuff like that. He's quite a distance in front. Hajar is on 38, Antonelli is on 66. And
Okay, so I think Kimi Antonelli is seventh or sixth. I don't
Kimi
know.
Antonelli is eighth. Albon has
Eighth.
overtaken in this race.
Oh, Albon has finally took over that
Albon is
place.
seventh
Okay.
and Antonelli is eighth. That what a season from. Let's actually just quickly talk about him. What a season from Alex Albon. Like seriously, I think he is the clear best of the rest driver. He has been so consistent. He is making Carlos Sainz look so like amateur, and I don't know how he's doing it, but he's doing an awesome job, and I'm rooting for him because seriously, he is on fire. Like one of the best drivers right now. Honestly, what do you think?
I totally agree. I'm actually loving the way he is taking that Williams to places. In the previous season, they were actually slow.
Oh yes,
Williams were just in the barrier, in the pit stop, probably not even racing at some point. Remember the time where they had to give Logan Sargent's car to race?
yeah,
They was it Logan? I think it
yeah,
was
yeah. It
Logan's
was
car.
Logan
Yeah,
Sargent. Yeah,
yeah, Logan Sargent's car to race to be there in the race because they wanted a driver who would keep it in. And and from that to this, it is a massive thing. It's a massive thing. And to have a lineup with a really high experience working with teams like Ferrari, being both were teammates with Max Verstappen as well.
yeah.
But then, and still Albon, who had a brief moment in Red Bull. I would say less in a a season. That's it. I think he was there only for a season or less than a season.
I
He
think it's
swapped. He took Gasly's position.
yeah, 1.5 seasons. I think
1.5 season. That's it. That's all he had it in Red Bull. But then,
he was out of F1 actually the year after that. He was not even
yes,
he didn't get a seat. So
he and now he's outperforming a person who who was the only person to defeat the dominant Red Bulls
of 2023.
2023
Yeah,
of 2023.
yeah, yeah. A race winner.
To be honest, I would
He
say
was a race winner
Sainz.
that year as well. Yeah,
I would say Sainz personally. I love him as a racer. I love him as a guy. He's a beautiful driver, but then he is not as lucky as we think. He's getting into crashes. Yeah, he is not. I don't see the confidence he had when he was in Ferrari.
yep,
But Albon is driving like he is in a McLaren. To be honest, you could see in a couple of races where he's like, "I'm the fastest. I'm gonna get it there." And the self motivation he has when racing, and you could see him through the radio. You could see that through the
yep,
radio. You could feel it.
yep, yep.
Albon, massive driving, massive driving.
Huge. Let's talk about Carlos Sainz, and not just him specifically. There's the one incident between Sainz and Behrman in the second chicane, I believe, and Sainz actually turned in. I think in my opinion, I think Sainz turned in onto Behrman a bit too early, and that caused the spin of both of them. And Behrman got a 10-second penalty for that, which I think was the incorrect decision. I think that was purely, actually, in my opinion, I think it was actually Sainz's fault. I'm actually steering towards that. I know some people are saying racing incident, and I do agree with that. But for me, I would say I think even Sainz should have got the penalty because that was really bad. That was a poor decision. That's not the kind of decision you expect I would call him a veteran racer to be making, right? What do you think of that?
Shaq, I have a different opinion on that, to be honest. So, when you actually look at the race, so if your car is ahead of the other driver when reaching the apex, it is definitely given to the driver ahead. The corner is for the driver ahead. So, the other bearman should actually have come back from that. But then in this situation, he was ahead, but not by an entire car length.
Yeah, not
He
by
had
as
a,
much as maybe it
the,
should have been. Yeah,
yes. So when driving from the science perspective, he was ahead. It was his corner. He took in the corner, and it was a sharp turn as well. It was not a wide turn which you normally have. It was a sharp turn. And for in sense of Behrman, he had so basically the corner was closed for him. He did there wasn't a racing line left. For since they were fighting and they were too close, but when fighting when trying to overtake, since they were too close, if Sainz would have taken a wider line, he would have both of them would have been able to get the corner together. But then since it was a close net battle between both of them,
So
and
eventually, there's nowhere for Behrman.
eventually nowhere for both Sainz and Behrman to go.
No,
If Sainz had
I
to
would
give,
say Behrman even more because he's on the inside.
yeah,
He can't
Behrman
turn
even
right, right?
Behrman had zero. Behrman had zero racing
Sainz has
line,
a bit more maybe wiggle. He
bit
should have
more
probably
room. But
gone
then
wider, yeah.
if he had gone wider, he would have been off the track.
Yeah. No,
So
I see your point. That's what I'm saying.
then,
I don't think it's a
yes,
bad thing to say.
I think this should have been gone as a racing incident rather than a 10-second penalty for Behrman. That was true. That was actually sad to see because Behrman didn't do anything.
Yeah.
He was legit closed out. Where else would he have gone?
Yeah, it was unlucky.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think FIA has been giving out the wrong penalties, to be honest.
I think if I
Similar to what, yes,
remove that team,
Hamilton getting a five place grid penalty was
for
a
this,
bit too much. Yeah, for Monza, and now Behrman getting a 10-second penalty for something he didn't do. He didn't have anywhere else to go. Where? What else was he supposed to do? Park the car or
yeah,
cut the
yeah,
chicane?
I agree. I agree. I think at the very least, it shouldn't have gone towards Behrman. It should have gone the other way. So,
Yeah, towards
or
side.
in the
Actually,
middle.
or in the see, okay, they're giving a penalty, and if a penalty should be given, it should have been given to Sainz, and only a 5-second penalty should have been sufficient.
Yeah,
Saying that okay, you didn't leave enough racing space or a racing line for the car behind you.
yeah,
If they had an option to waive it off and consider it as a racing incident, they should have done that. That is the most logical thing they could have done. But FIA has been in their own dream world, choosing to give whatever they feel like giving.
yeah. Look, it's unlucky on Behrman's part. And just the last thing, we'll touch on Aston, and Alonso was another unlucky one. Just really unlucky. He was in the points. He was easily going to get the points. I don't think, honestly, there's much he could have done, and that's really it that for that one. And Stroll for Aston, that was a pretty nothing race actually. Just kind of, he was just there to make up the numbers. It seemed like. So a bit of a Aston all over the place. They might be like the new Haas or something, because Haas is also all over the place. So hit and miss, you know. So sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. So yeah, look, what can you do?
Yeah, exactly. I actually feel really bad for Alonso there. Uh, he got onto the chicane and the suspension was broken. That's it. It's pretty. What else do you expect? You could see you could hear the sadness in Alonso's voice. Like nothing can be done. It's broken.
Yeah, he was just like,
Suspension is gone.
this is
He
unbelievable.
was so he was so disappointed with what happened. He didn't know what else to do there. So
I don't know what he can do, to be honest.
yeah, exactly, and similar goes for Stroll. He was really close to where Alonso was. He was in P7, P8, 18.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
I think he finished in P18. Yeah,
he finished in P18. Where, to be honest, Aston had a really poor weekend. They could have done so better, but then they they
that's just the
they
way.
they're being
That's just the way it goes.
they are being really inconsistent. To be honest, they're being really
A
inconsistent.
lot of them have been, a lot of them have been very inconsistent. Aston,
Especially Stroll, because you could see in one race he's performing really well.
yeah, he's been
Sometimes even finishing in points, and sometimes he's down in the on the down in the pit lane, sitting there chilling, talking to the mechanics.
yeah, that's true. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, look, it's there's a few teams on the grid now. It's Aston and Haas. Sometimes Racing Bulls are really good. Sometimes they're not. I would say even the same with Sauber last weekend, not so much. This weekend, pretty decent. So I'd say the only ones who are consistent is McLaren, who are really good, and
And
Alpine, who are
just
really bad.
yeah, I just wanna and Max is also good as well.
And Max as well, but the
Max,
Red
yes.
Bull can get in the way sometimes. The car itself, I mean.
Yes, and just want to touch on something. Gotta feel sad for Hulkenberg.
Yeah.
Mechanical failure. Right after the formation lap, he was taken out. Really sad to see him. Uh, would have been interesting to see him on the grid.
Yeah, unlucky, but sometimes it just doesn't go your way. But look, yeah, another decent race. We've got I think Baku and Azerbaijan and Singapore after that. So two street tracks coming up, and then I think after Baku, the European part of the season is over, which is crazy because it just feels it doesn't feel like so like
Yeah, exactly. It feels like it started last month, and
yeah, yeah.
we are how many races in? 13, 14 races in?
No, it's 16.
16 races in. Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Eight more
another
to
eight
go.
more,
Eight
eight
more
more
to
to
go.
go. Drivers' Championship is up for grabs. Constructors is McLaren easy.
Yeah.
Let's wait and watch.
Yeah, let's see. But until then, we'll see you guys for the next video in Baku. Bye bye, guys.
See you guys and do like, share, and subscribe.